And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm also are simulcasting on our other sites as well.
And welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm also are simulcasting
on our other sites as well.
And welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm also are simulcasting on our other sites as well.
Miss Merritt-Watson, do you have a window that's open maybe for the show?
Well,
Miss Merritt-Watson, do you have a window that's open maybe for the show?
let me see.
Okay.
Well,
Miss Merritt-Watson, do you have a window that's open maybe for the show?
let me see.
Okay.
Well,
Miss Merritt-Watson, do you have a window that's open maybe for the show?
let me see.
Okay.
Well,
Miss Merritt-Watson, do you have a window that's open maybe? We seem to be having a slight tech issue here. We're going to try to get that fixed for you guys. One of the things that happens sometimes with live broadcasts. Tech issue here. We're going to try to get that fixed for you guys. One of the things that happens sometimes with live broadcasts. Tech issue here. We're going to try to get that fixed for you guys. One of the things that happens sometimes with live broadcasts. Tech issue here. We're going to try to get that fixed for you guys. One of the things that happens sometimes with live broadcasts. Tech issue here. We're going to try to get that fixed for you guys. One of the things that happens sometimes with live broadcasts. Tech issue here. We're going to try to get that fixed for you guys. One of the things that happens sometimes with live broadcasts.
what is
Okay, Miss Merritt-Watson. Okay, I think we're good.
you know what? It was the previous window that we had. I'm so sorry.
No. It is not a problem. It is. Hey, look, we are all in this together. It's all good. It's all good. So good to be able to see you again.
It's nice to see you as well. I certainly hope that everything has gone well. That's all
Yeah.
I can say.
Yeah, look, everything is fine. Everything is fine. And we definitely thank our audience that are joining us on the simulcast as well. Tech issues happen with all of us. But we're excited about Miss Merritt-Watson being with us today because she is a part of something that's very special that's happening this month, and that is Personal History Awareness Month. And what I love about Miss Merritt-Watson's book, Black Tech, that you guys can see here on Amazon, is that it is all about history. And so you all can be able to get your copy here, either the paperback edition or the Kindle edition here on Amazon. Ms. Merritt-Watson, we're going to go through a series of 7 days covering the 14 individuals that you have in the book, beginning today with 2 of the first individuals in the book. I want to first, for our audience just finding out about the book, let them know a little bit about where the idea for the book came from.
Well, the idea of the book for me came from the limited exposure that we have about our history and how important it is for our children to know their history and take it to them with them to school. And more importantly, at home. And the idea came from the notion that we, as African American, don't know the great contribution that we've made to the development of this country and in the world. You will see, and when you go in my book, you see the filament, you see the cell phone, the GPS. That is just not used in the United States. It's used throughout the world. So we're doing marvelous things, but it's like it's a secret to the world.
Yeah.
So that's what drives me.
Yeah. And so the 14 individuals that you chose for Black Tech, and the subtitle of the book is Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. For those who don't have their copy of it, again, you can see it here on Amazon. How did you choose the 14 individuals that you profiled in the book?
Well, it's very challenging to choose the 14 individual because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of African Americans that have done great things. But what I was trying to identify with, since my target market is first to third graders, what happens is that they need to be able to relate to it. And so when I chose those things, the 14 in the book, I chose the one that I thought that age group would be most relatable to. They'll be able to relate more to those individuals because most kids have cell phone. Most people know the security system. They use Zoom. They use call forwarding. They know what the ice cream truck, the refrigerator truck is. They know these things. So it's important if you're going to target your market, your target market got to relate to those things.
Yeah. Such a great point. So what we're going to do today, Ms. Merritt-Watson, is go to the first two individuals in the book to kind of tee things up for our audience. And as we go throughout this series, it's just going to be 15-minute segments we're going to have with you guys, because we really just want to be able to tell you about the individuals in the book, but then invite you to go ahead and get your copy. At the end of this series, what we're going to do is have Ms. Merritt-Watson back. We're going to talk about the entire book and take any questions you will have as well. So the very first individual, when you all open up the book, the first individual you see that's featured is Jesse Eugene Russell, and his invention was the modern cell phone. So, Ms. Merritt-Watson, as we're talking about history, what was it like for you to discover about what Mr. Russell was able to contribute and the impact it's had on the world?
Of course, you know that a lot of the people won't be able to identify with the analog cell phone because we no longer do that. So his background and his research at Bell Lab was the digital cell phone, and he had been interested in engineering and electronics for many years, and focused on cellular and wireless when he was at Bell South. Well, Bell Labs, I should say, because they have different regions. So since we're in the South, I call it Bell South. So once he did that, he introduced technology. He worked in his lab. But he had a really keen interest for things like this when he was much younger. He went to Tennessee State University, which helped him expound and identify what some of his passion. So if you dive into Jesse Russell, you will see how he formed his passion for the communication industry.
And the writing that goes along with the book, as we're talking about Mr. Russell, is my grandparents live far away, but Jesse Russell's invention lets me talk to them from anywhere in the world. And we're able to be able to see that illustrated in the book, especially when we're talking about young people in history. Ms. Merritt-Watson, what do you hope they understand about the impact Mr. Russell has had on them and how they communicate?
Well, one of the things I'm hoping, most people don't pick up the cell phone and think about who invented it. But what I'm hoping that since everybody's connected to the cell phone, that they will be able to start looking at their phone and identify with the fact that what Jesse Russell's contribution was to their cell phone that they're using. And so if we could start getting our people to think about the things that we've done, and because he started out with the data telephone and the different processes of telephones. And so what he have done and how that system worked and the format and the flow of that, many things came out of it. And so this is what I want our kids to build on. It's not, you could start out as mobile data telephone, and the telephone has gone through many transitions. And so now we have something that's very workable and continue to be upgraded. And so I want them to be able to connect to those elements as well. Once you get something, you don't stop there, you just keep going. And you could see that clearly in the educational process of Jesse Russell.
Yeah, such a great point. The second individual we're covering today, Ms. Merritt-Watson, is Gladys West. And she was responsible for something very important. I know I use it a lot in my travel. Our audience can see it there, which is the Global Positioning System, or the GPS, as most of us call it these days. Talk to us about the impact of Ms. West and what it was like for you to see her contribution.
Well, this contribution here, most everyone knows about the GPS. If they have a car, they have a phone, GPS is on your phone. And Gladys West, she goes back and she tells about her learning. She came from a large family in Virginia, in Sutherland, Virginia. And in that process, they worked on a farm. And she says that out of I think it was 12 kids, 11 siblings that she had. And she said she had two choices. She was going to be destined to work on the farm and get married. But she loved mathematics. So she wanted to do more, but she knew her family didn't have the money. So just learning about her journey to where to how she got created the GPS was also intriguing, as the fact that when she started working with with NASA, when she started working there, her learning about the GPS and it just kept growing. And so since they deal with space, and she continued to grow in that mathematica, and she said she loved her job, but there was restriction. So in that process, I'm telling this story because I don't want people to give up when their journey is disrupted by something. So
Yeah.
at Virginia State, which is in Petersburg, Virginia, and it is an HBCU. Um, she says that her parents just didn't have the money, and she was second in her class, and she ended up getting a full scholarship. So your energy and effort to help make some of these things happen need to be thought about before you finish school, during that whole process of school. When you first enter school, who's paying for college, who's paying for my associates, my apprenticeship. And you can think those things, but that journey, just because your journey is very challenging, 11 kids by itself is very challenging. So the GPS, everybody use it. And this is something that's used over the world. But do anybody often think about who created that?
Yeah.
And that's what I want. That's the thing I want to keep going back to. I need to, how do you help instill pride in about what you do into a whole community that people don't look at, that they've done contributed to this society?
Yeah, such a great thing. And a great kickoff to this series as we're looking at Personal History Month for our audience, Ms. Merritt-Watson, and we're able to do it with the help of your book, Black Tech. Again, everyone, Theresa Merritt-Watson is our guest. Black Tech, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow is the book we're going through this series with. Ms. Merritt-Watson, I'm excited about this. It gives us some time to really be able to take time to look at these individuals. As we go throughout the series, we'll look at some of their education. As you mentioned, the first two are both from historically Black college and universities. We're going to talk more about that as well as we're going throughout the series. Make sure you guys get your copy of the book Black Tech here on Amazon. If you guys are not joining us on the Amazon platform, you will see a link that will bring you over because we are simulcasted on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X as well today. So make sure you guys do get your copy. Ms. Merritt-Watson, I'll be back with you for part 2.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Cyrus.
More than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Make sure you guys do stay tuned for part 2 of our series. And as you were going throughout this series, if you guys missed any of it, you can catch any of the replays here on Amazon Live. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you all soon. Take care.